Just to give a little bit of history, from when we started tracking this industry, it really was born in liquor stores. And a really important point about this too is that if you overly focus just on one channel, you might miss the forest for the trees, which is to say that not everybody walks into a liquor store on a daily basis. There's a lot of people that do actually walk into, say, a convenience store literally every day on their way to work. Grocery stores, somewhere in the middle. All we're asking for is clear rules. And you speak to people that move real volumes of product, all they want are just clear rules. And when you get those, you get some real magic. And you look to Georgia right now is the state to watch because they've put in positive regs that say up to these potencies and in these set of variables, totally fine, you can sell it in your store. And that's all we've been needing. And you're going to see states like Georgia, Tennessee also did this, and they're absolutely lighting up with this category.
So my name is Steve Jabour. I'm with a small Texas retailer called Specs. We operate 219 stores all throughout Texas. We love this space. We want to see this space grow. We were probably one of the first in the state to really jump into it and lean into it and not be afraid to say we're proud to be in the space. From billboards to shelf space to displays to truck wraps, we make sure everybody in the state of Texas know that we're in this business. And we're very proud of it, and we speak openly about it. And John, the owner, was sitting there, and usually when I want something to get done, I go on a Saturday and we talk about it. And I said, hey, I want you to get on your computer and look something up for me. I said, pull up THC beverages around you. There was hundreds and hundreds of stores that carried them. Not doing any volume, found a brand. I said, we're going to test this in 35 stores. It was mid-October 23. A week later, I said, we're going to go all in. We're going to put in all 200 plus stores and see what it does. He called me about 6 months later. He says, you were absolutely 100% right. We got to watch this space. We need to develop it. We need to grow. I said, I'm already way ahead of you. We're already doing it. The most precious thing we have as a retailer is shelf space. It doesn't grow. We can't expand it. It is what it is. You put as much as you can in the store, and hopefully you're putting the right products. We're now going to 24 feet in most stores, 2 cooler doors, 6 to 12 displays in every store. We're just going to keep growing and keep developing. Our owner, John, is a very conservative guy. Doesn't take many risks. And I've put him out in the front through some interviews and whatnot, how proud he is to sell in this space.
I think all of us that have been early in the category would say things don't go as fast as you want it to go. And I think on the retail adoption side, there's been some things that have accelerated that have been really exciting. And when independent liquor came on in a bigger way in Minnesota, and then Total Wine expanding and Specs, and having all of these players jump in, it's really accelerated it. But in the grand scheme of things, we don't have Walmart, we don't have 7-Eleven, so there's still a lot of opportunity for channel expansion. And in grocery, what I've seen there is, generally speaking, we don't have Whole Foods, right? But you do have regional grocery that's interested in the channel or already selling. So it's about being kind of patient and figuring out like where can you go full throttle in certain chains. And it's been really exciting to see grocery because you get consumers, when they're a little bit more interested in discovering things, or it's going to be more of an impulse buy, I would say, or discovery. But in some of these independent liquor chains, it's been really great. And I think on grocery, we're just getting started. But the merchandising is getting more sophisticated, just like, Steve figured out. We give it 1 foot, then we give it 2 feet, then we give it 5 feet, now we're giving it 24 feet. And that's not just because they like the brands, it's because the brands are performing and doing really well.
I think that's the biggest decision-making tree for any retail, how you grow it quickly and effectively to capitalize on it, but also respect your other categories, because it's really important. We're an adult beverage store. We're no longer a liquor store. I mean, we're top 10 liquors, but we're really top 10 adult beverages. And so how we approach that and go forward is really important to communicate that to our consumer base.
Let's say for the year of this 2025, what % of your sales in your liquor store? You have 16, is that right?
15.
15. What % of sales would you expect to be a % of sales for THC beverages?
Our goal is to grow the category to be close to 20% of sales. For everybody out there, retail or not, it is a margin healthy category. Mm-hmm. When you're a liquor store owner in particular, we're not high margin businesses. We're not suppliers or distributors. We've It's a little different journey. So when you're able to add material sales in a high margin category, it really does make a difference, and it makes it worth leaning into it to see how big the category can get. For this category, you got to throw every tool into it. You've got to really think outside of the box and push it to get there.
Let's say that he's bang on and he hits 20%. That will have taken 2.5 years, or right around there. The amazing stat I like to share about this. So imagine that's the whole category of THC drinks took 2.5 years to hopefully hit 20%. That has never been done before by a alcohol or brand or category. The most recent entrant to the top 10 of Bev Alc brands is Twisted Tea. I'm sure y'all are probably familiar with this. It took Twisted Tea 22 years to hit a 10 share. 22 years.
I don't think 90% of our customers right now are even considering the category. They all consider alcohol when they walk in. That's why they came to us. And so when I just look at it as we're able to overcome the stigma of the category and make them feel comfortable, we're going to hit 20% with the stigma existing, with the challenges existing, with many of our customers not even contemplating it. And as we grow it beyond that, I don't know where it goes, but it's huge.
Based on our data in Oklahoma, quite conservative state, the average cannabis consumer in Oklahoma spends $2,100 a year on cannabis. That's how we know it's going to be bigger than alcohol.
I looked at last fourth quarter, it was about $18. 52% of our customers are buying THC beverages. What we're seeing, though, is we're attracting a customer that was not shopping with us. Our scans are up, our baskets our rings are up, the liquor industry is down. Wine's plummeting, beer's declining, liquor's there's no more premiumization. It's all, people are all trading way down. So our job and goal is to sell as many things we possibly can. And if we can get them in the door with THC, 100% we're going to keep doing it. Now we got to figure out how, of our 63,000 SKUs we carry, to sell them one more or two more items. What we're seeing in Texas is our largest share of the space is women 35 to 45.
Smaller channels like grocery and convenience are where trial can happen. People become aware, and then they come to your store and buy the multi-packs.
When you look at a lot of turn ratios and how retail approaches them, beer's a very fast turn category. Spirits are okay. Wine's not the fastest turn category. If you can turn your wine inventory 6 to 8 times a year, you're very happy. If you can turn your spirits 8 to 10 times, you're very happy. And in beer, we're probably turning 12 times a year at least, if not more frequently. It's hard with THC as a developing category because our turns are at the beer level right now. It is hard to set what that threshold is going to look like because 20% of our sales, if we achieve it, we should have 60 feet of space in our stores to maximize the right amount and layout. It should be 6 cooler doors or more than that to really hit it, or 8 cooler doors. But it is challenging to reallocate space quick enough to be able to do it. So it's also then more challenging to expand to carry all the brands we need to carry and at the same time have what a logical turn is going to look like in the category.
So the key to success with the retailers turns and margins. You got a product that turns, you make margin, they're gonna stack the shit out of it. That's just bottom line. Our wine turns are under 2%. Beer's about 18 turns. Liquor in a can is 20 plus. High Noon drives that. I think in this space, THC, I think if we're in the 18 to 20 turns, depending on if it's direct store delivery, if you're buying, there's a lot of factors in that, but I think 20 turns is not hard to do for us.
The velocity difference that we're seeing in different channels is, I would say, retail chain liquor or like kind of select chain liquor. If that's your base, in like a C-store, we might see like 50% of the velocity. And with C-store too, it's also with 150,000 points of distribution or 150,000 stores, there's a lot of stores in a lot of places. And not all of those stores are potentially your customer for today.
With convenience, it's 3,000 different products in a store that's about the size of this room. Within beverage, it's a single space. Over 57% of beer sales in convenience are singles, and 60% of C-store retailers are looking to up that number because they make so much margin.
That impulse buy is crucial for customer comfort and experimentation and everything getting into the categories. Tastings. And I know a lot of brands look at the end of the day and say, I sold 20 units, was it worth the cost? And to me, it's not about that day, it's not about tomorrow, it's about building a business for the future. And every brand that tastes in our store regularly has huge success.
That's something we say a lot within convenience too, is make it easy for the retailer to say yes, earn your spots. It's a singles business in convenience, so that looks different, but come with a display and say, I'd like to put this up, and if it sells, then give me a spot on the shelf. Give me a spot on that cooler door, because whether it's convenience, whether it's liquor, whether it's grocery, whether it's big box, the one thing you can't buy more of is space.
Maybe y'all have seen like Voodoo Ranger IPAs and singles in, say, like a convenience store. Part of the reason that they've done so well is that they're selling high octane liquid, and people are kind of doing the mental math. I'm going to buy a can. I kind of want to get some effect of that. So this brings me to, for this category, for THC beverage specifically, are you finding any patterns across these different retail channels as far as what is that potency?
Everyone's intuition or gut instinct says we need lower dose to get people into the category, to experiment with it, and then they're going to go to higher dose. And I think if you look at most retailers, at least in Minnesota and probably other places, 10 milligram, 10 milligram, 10 milligram. And after that, it's 10 milligram and 10 milligram, and then maybe a 5 milligram. The bang for the buck is crucial.
When a customer goes and buys a bottle of rosé or a Knob Creek, are they asking for a 60 proof or are they going to want an 80 proof? I mean, they want the effect. And hands down in Texas, 10s are, it's not even close.
As a startup, like, change is the most expensive thing. So if your rule set is changing, or the SKUs that you can sell are changing, or the packaging is changing, like, that's all real cost. And so clarity and a really clear understanding of what the sandbox is the most important thing for end consumers to get the product that they deserve, and for entrepreneurs and business people to build businesses that add, value in a sustainable way.